Hello class, this is Demetrius Wilson and this is Management 2. We are now on Chapter 10, Managing Employee Motivation and Performance. Our learning outcomes are characterize the nature of motivation, including its importance and basic historical perspectives. Identify and describe the major content perspectives on motivation. Identify and describe the major process perspectives on motivation. Describe reinforcement perspectives on motivation. Identify and describe popular motivational strategies. And last but not least, describe the role of organizational reward systems in motivation. I want you guys to always, read your quote, very, motivational, good quotes at the beginning, and then read the story about Whole Foods. A very interesting story on how Whole Foods got started and continues to strive. As you go through the chapter, you'll start with the nature of motivation. Motivation sets of forces that cause people to behave a certain way. I'm motivated to work harder so that I can have the money to purchase a car because I'm tired of getting on the bus, right? What's my motivation? People aren't going to do things unless they have some type of specific motivation. You'll find some people in their careers that don't start excelling until they have children because they're motivated by the fact that I have to provide for these children, right? I got 5 mouths to feed. I need to get things done. I need to be motivated. Let's look at the motivation framework. So you have a need or deficiency, search for ways to satisfy the need. Choice of behavior to satisfy the need goes to evaluation of need satisfaction, right? So my choice of behavior, I need to do either A or B to make the money to complete C. Determination of future needs and search for choice or for satisfaction. So the motivation framework process progresses through a series of discrete steps. Content, process, and reinforcement perspective on motivation addresses different parts of this process, right? So you have either a need or deficiency, right? I need water, I need food, or I'm deficient in certain areas, don't have enough shelter, don't have enough, fulfilling enough social esteem needs, things of that nature. So I'm motivated by these needs or these deficiencies, which prompts me to work harder in different areas. Content perspective is an approach to motivation that tries to answer the question, what factors motivate people? Well, different people are motivated by different things. So you can't just say one thing motivates a person. So money doesn't motivate everybody. And some people say, oh, those of us who don't have a whole bunch of money think that, oh, no, that can't be true. But it is. And I had just when I worked for a sales company, I had an individual, and this individual was not motivated by money. He came from wealth. He was very wealthy, had a very wealthy family, and he was motivated by success. He wanted to be the top salesperson. He didn't really care about the bonuses and the money and everything. He wanted to win. Maslow's hierarchy of needs suggests that people must satisfy 5 groups of needs in order. Physiological, like that's your food, your water, things that you definitely need to survive. Security, right? You want to be safe at home, at school, at work. Belongingness, you want to feel like you belong to the group. Esteem needs and self-actualization. That's if I've reached my highest potential. That typically doesn't happen, but we should always strive to reach our highest potential. And there's a lovely diagram right there. Shows you the different needs, and it goes from the bottom all the way to the top, right? For these base needs right here, if you don't have these, you can't get these, right? If you don't have food and water, you're going to die, and you can't do anything about these, right? And you see how these are organizational examples and general examples, right? So general examples, like I just gave you, food, stability, friendship, status, and achievement. So kind of correlate that to office environment, base salary, right? You need a base salary. Unless you're sales and you get high commission, but you need a base salary. Security, I need to be secure. This is my pension plan. Belongingness, I need to have friends at work. Esteem, I want to feel good about what I'm doing. I want to be called the janitor. I want to be called the manager of maintenance, job title, and then challenging job, right? So you see how you get these general examples and you correlate them to job examples, which is quite cool. So be sure to read this about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Kind of explained in a nutshell, but be sure to read that because it's something that stood the test of time. The other thing that stood the test of time is a 2-factor theory of motivation. Suggests that people's satisfaction and dissatisfaction are influenced by 2 independent sets of factors. Motivation factors, right? Things that motivate you, like money, wealth, recognition, and hygiene factors. And hygiene factors are things that you aren't necessarily excited about, but if they're not there, you're going to have a problem. So if you go into work, right, and you have a desk and you sit down at your chair, you're not going to come in every day and say, oh, I'm so glad that this chair is here. It makes me feel so good when I sit down. But if you come in and the chair is not there, now you're going to have a problem and you're going to have a gripe. That's what you call a hygiene factor, not a factor, oh, did I take a bath this morning, but a factor to say that if those things aren't there, you're going to be upset. And these are motivation factors: achievement, recognition, work itself, responsibility, advancement, and growth. Those are achievement factors. Hygiene factors: supervisors, like you don't care if I'm there or not, but if I'm not there and things go awry and things go crazy, like, oh, I need Demetrius back because he needs to set these things straight. Working conditions, interpersonal relationships, pay and security, company policies and administration, right? Paycheck comes on Friday. Hey, nobody's jumping up and down and saying, I'm so ecstatic that I got paid. So be sure to read that. We went over it already, but go over the two-factor theory of motivation there as well. Read your chapter and your textbook very thoroughly. Need for achievement. This is a desire to accomplish a goal or task more effectively than in the past, right? So, hey, last year we came in second place. This year we got to come in first place, right? I have a need for achievement. Everybody's got different type of needs. I would say I definitely have a need for achievement. I want to do better on my goals this year than we did last year. And I know you say, well, where does it end? You can only get up to 100%. Well, we can always strive to do better. And then we can't strive to do better. Maybe it's time to do something else. Need for affiliation is the desire for human companionship and acceptance, right? So those are people accepting you, human companionship. Everybody doesn't need that all that much, but some people, they really strive on that. Need for power. This is a desire to be influential in a group or to control one's environment, right? So some people might be control freaks and they say, hey, I need that power. I need to be in charge of this. But everybody is not like that. I'll take myself for example. I don't need to necessarily be the iron hand of the group. But if things aren't going appropriately, then maybe I do need to be that. I won't let things fall by the wayside without saying anything. But need for power, maybe discrete power, but not necessarily need for power to say, hey, I'm the big man on campus. I'm the one in charge. Expectancy theory. This suggests that motivation depends on two things: how much we want something and how likely we think we are to get it, right? So I could want $10 million so much, but if I don't think I'm likely to get it, then it's out of my thought process, right? So those two things contribute to it. How close am I to possibly getting $10 million? And if I am, then I'm gonna, go, full tilt to try and get that. But if I go full tilt and then I don't get that $10 million and it's a high likelihood that I won't, then I probably will not go 100% as stated. So here's the expectancy model of motivation. I want you guys to be sure that you review this. Expectancy model of motivation is complex but relatively accurate portrayal of how motivation occurs. According to this model, a manager must understand what employees want, such as pay, promotion, or status, to begin to motivate them. If you don't know what your employees want, you don't know how to motivate them, then where do you start? Right, I'm gonna give you guys all movie tickets. Well, we don't like the movies, right? I'm gonna give you guys all food, right? But we don't like the food that you're bringing in. We're all on diets, right? So you have to figure out what actually motivates them. Effort to export a performance expectancy, the individual's perception of the probability that the effort will lead to high performance. So if my effort leads to high performance and my high performance leads to rewards, then that's A-OK, 2 thumbs up. I'm going in the right direction. Performance to outcome expectancy, this is the second part of it. Individual's perception that performance will lead to a specific outcome. So my performance, right, will now lead to a promotion or, a raise or something like that. If it doesn't, then maybe I'll draw back on my performance. Outcomes, these are the consequences of behaviors in an organizational setting, usually rewards, right? So those are outcomes, right? So I do it. I know that what I do is going to make me perform at a high level. My performance at a high level is going to make me get promoted and get a raise. Balance is an index of how much an individual values a particular outcome, the attractiveness of the outcome to an individual, right? So is it very attractive for me to get $10 million? Yes, 100% it is. Is it very attractive for me to get movie tickets? Absolutely not, because I don't even like going to the movies, right? The balance level is very, very low on that, but the balance level for that $10 million is super duper high, all right? So this is the Porter-Lawler extension of the expectancy theory. So, some of these theories have been around for quite some time, and other people, come along and they attach other things to it that say, hey, this is more contemporary. So Porter-Lawler extension of expectancy theory suggests that if performance results in equitable rewards, people will be more satisfied. Thus, performance can lead to satisfaction. Managers must therefore be sure that any system of motivation includes rewards that are fair and equitable for all, right? So everybody needs rewards. So some of the things that we do my organization, right? You can't just give rewards to people who are the only people who are on the phone, right? I've run call centers before, and we have ancillary departments and other people that maybe don't get the opportunity to get those type of rewards because they're not the ones who are counted by the different metrics. So you have to be equitable. Equity theory contends that people are motivated to seek social equity in the rewards they receive for performance. And everybody compares. If you're a manager, you think people don't compare, you're wrong. I was terminating an employee, and we're going through her desk, cleaning her desk was a mess, cleaning all her stuff, boxing it up. I don't even know why she wanted to take some of the stuff with her. And she had another employee's review in there, right? So I asked the other employee after I, terminated this lady, I said, hey, why'd she have your review? And, she's kind of dumbfounded, but she had it because she gave it to her. And if you think these people aren't communicating and talking, then you're wrong. And so that's why you have to be on the up and up with everything, on the level with everybody, right? I'm going to treat everybody the same, and I'm going to grade and grade everybody's performance the same as well. So this right here, and I want you to review this diagram as well, is the expanded goal setting theory of motivation. One of the most important emerging theories of motivation is goal setting theory. This theory suggests that goal difficulty, specificity, acceptance, and commitment combine to determine an individual's goal-directed effort. The effort, when complemented by appropriate organizational support and individual abilities and traits, results in performance. Finally, performance is seen as leading to intrinsic. Remember, that's internal, right? You have your intrinsic or your internal motivation, your extrinsic external motivation, and extrinsic rewards that in turn result in employee satisfaction, right? So I feel good about what I'm doing. I also got a bonus. Employee satisfied. I'm working hard. I'm coming in every day, like I say, go full tilt all the way to the wall. Give it 100% because I feel like if I give 100%, good things happen. So I continue to give 100%. Reinforcement theory is an approach to motivation that argues that behavior will result in rewarding consequences is likely to be repeated, whereas behavior that results in punishing consequences is less likely to be repeated. So if I ring a bell in the office and $10 million falls out of the sky, I'm going to keep ringing that bell till $10 million stops falling out of the sky. But if I ring a bell in the office and I get written up, I'm going to stop ringing the bell in the office. Positive reinforcement is a method of strengthening behavior with rewards or positive outcomes after a desired behavior is behaved, right? So this is the leading way. Feature highlights an interesting perspective on reinforcement if you ever had a chance to check that out. But let's dissect this a little bit more. You want to strengthen behavior with rewards or positive outcomes after desired behavior is performed. So if you do this the way that I want to, then hey, I'm going to give you a $25 gift certificate. And you know that, hey, this is the right way. I'm going to continue to do it this way. Avoidance, used to strengthen behavior by avoiding unpleasant consequences that will result if the behavior were not performed. So I'm going to come to work because I don't want to get fired, right? I want to avoid not coming to work because I want to avoid not being fired. Punishment is used to weaken undesired behaviors by using negative outcomes or unpleasant consequences when the behavior is performed, right? So if I come late, then what happens? What's unpleasant? Then I get written up, right? So you have, different ways to handle things, but all in all, if good things happen, I'll continue to do it. If bad things happen, I need to discontinue doing whatever I do. So to reward or punish, that is the question, right? So I want you guys to read that. They always say, do you want to use the carrot or the stick approach, right? The carrot, or they say they dangle the carrot in front of the donkey. Donkey goes along, he tries to get the carrot, or to use the stick approach. I keep jabbing you with the stick. Why are you late? Bam, jab you with the stick. Why didn't you, why'd you take such a long lunch? Bam, jab you with the stick, as opposed to using the carrot and motivating people in a different way. So be sure to read that. That's quite interesting. Extinction, used to weaken the undesired behaviors by simply ignoring them or not reinforcing them, right? So I don't like the ignoring factor. Whether it's good or whether it's bad, things shouldn't be ignored. If it's good, I want to give you a high five, say continue. If it's bad, then I need to address it with you. You go over those on your own, the fixed interval and the variable interval schedules. That's just, fixed just means you get something at the same time, same bad channel. Variable could be all over the place. Could be the first of the month, could be the third of the month, could be second, right? Fixed ratio schedules, once you review those on your own as well. Variable ratio schedule also. So organization behavior modification. This is a method for applying the basic elements of reinforcement theory in an organizational setting. All right, so they changed some of the terms and everything, but organizational behavior modification, it says, hey, we're going to apply these elements. Reinforcement theory says, hey, if you do it good, then you get a reward. If you do it bad, then you get a punishment. All right, so we're going to have a behavior modification. And the behavior modification is, if you continue to be late, then I'm going to have to write you up, or I'm going to have to change your shift because I need for you to change your behavior. Empowerment. This is the process of enabling workers to set their own work goals, make decisions, and solve problems within their sphere of responsibility and authority. So meaning, hey, don't come ask me about giving a discount, every single time this comes up. You are empowered. You're enabled to go ahead and give a discount up to 25%. That's the law. Go ahead. Go do it. Right? Anything above that, then come talk to me about it. That's great. But if all of you guys, all 50 of you reps come to me about giving something under 25% or under, then I'll never be able to get anything done. So you have to empower people. If you're a micromanager, you don't empower people. Oh, everything needs to run through me, but you will also never advance. Participation is a process of giving employees a voice in making decisions about their own work, right? So some people, let's be honest, they don't need to make any decisions about their own work, but some people do. Some people can sit down and say, hey, let's talk about some stretch goals, some goals that are attainable. They're also realistic, and they're good goals. They're ones that we can measure, right? We talk about SMART goals, and we don't make it so easy, but we want to make it to where you work really hard and you achieve these things. Then you're going to get a big raise, and that's a good way to do things. So service with a smile at your service. I want you guys to read that. A lot of you guys are in service industries, and you have to deal with people face to face or over the phone, and you need to do a good job of doing so. Some companies have a compressed work week, working a full 40-hour week in fewer than traditional 5 days, right? So maybe you work 12-hour shifts, right? And you do it a little differently. Maybe you work 10-hour days, right? And you only do 4 days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you do 10 hours. That's 40 days. That's your 40 hours for the week. Boom, I got Friday off. I'm headed to the beach, right? So that compressed work week, it works for some people. Now, some people look at it and say, hey, we see a decline on performance after that 8 hours, and the 9-10 hours absolutely sucks. But other people say it works great. They get the same amount of work done, and they're good to go. Flexible work schedules. It's good to be flexible with people. Work schedules that allow employees to select within broad parameters of the hours that they work. Hey, you want to work from 5, start at 5 in the morning, right? Then go right ahead if it fits you. Like if you don't have people that are on the phones, then they don't necessarily have to come in at a specific time. If there's a trust issue about trusting them by themselves, then maybe they're not the right person to have there either. But flexible work schedules definitely help individuals. What if somebody has to get off early because they have to pick up the kids or something like that? I feel that it's always been good. Now, some people, because they're call center people and they have to be there from 8 to 5 just because that's our peak call hours. But some of the other positions that I manage, perfectly fine for them to, have a flexible work schedule. Job sharing is when two part-time employees share one full-time job. Let's say two ladies, they're BFFs, they get pregnant at the same time, and but they say, well, we can't do it, the job fully, but I can do half of the job. And they say, hey, I'll do half, you do half, and let's split the salary. So sometimes that works, and then later on in life they come back to the company full-time. Definitely things that you as people that working at a company can think about. Telecommuting just means working from home. Doesn't mean that you have some type of teleporting device. Increasingly popular approach to alternative work arrangements is telecommuting, allow employees to spend part of their time working off-site, and for most people it's all of their time, usually at home. So, and I've done it before where I've been out of town, I had to work from somewhere or whatever. But these people, they just don't go into the office. Now, what's the drawback of telecommuting? I'll tell you what I think the drawback is that people don't see you. They're not visible of what you're doing. They don't see your face. So if they interview me and I'm in the office all the time and they interview you and you're, telecommuting, they're like, what? I kind of see Demetrius all the time. I'm going to go with him as opposed to this person because they're tucked away. But it is a great thing. There's a lot of benefits there. Probably save on clothes. All kinds of save on gas, all kind of things. Probably won't save on toilet tissue, right? Because you get the free toilet tissue at the company. But you save on a lot of things. Time. And a lot of those people, it's so funny. They jump up and they work in their pajamas and stuff like that. A reward system is a formal or informal mechanism by which employee performance is defined, evaluated, and rewarded, right? So what's the reward system for what we're doing, right? Reward here, you hit these numbers, you get a bonus. You reward here, you hit these numbers, you get a raise. So, some companies have great reward systems, some not so much, but you want to have something that's motivating to your employees. Merit pay, check that out on your own. Everybody should know what your merit pay and merit pay plan, know what like a COLA is, a cost of living adjustment. Piece rate incentive plan, that's for, used for like manufacturing typically, or things that you have. I've finished making one doll, I get $10 for a doll, stuff like that. So be sure to review those and, in totality so that you are aware of how that's completed. Gain sharing programs. This is designed to share cost savings from productivity improvements with employees. So, you might say, well, why are they doing this? Well, if you've got some stake in the game, maybe you act a little bit differently, right? If some of your money was dependent upon how the company does in the stock market, then you're going to, do the right thing for the company because it's going to make your stock go up. And if you want to sell it, then you sell your stock at a higher price. You're not going to do anything at the detriment of the company if you have $100,000 worth of stock within the company. All right. So check out executive compensation. Some people, their perspective is not there in terms of how much these executives are getting paid. It's quite a bit of money. So, for instance, 2013 Kraft Foods paid its CEO, Irene Rosenfeld, who, I talked about in different classes, $3.6 million in base salary. All right, so she's got plenty of money there. $3.6 million is nothing to sneeze at. You might have a stock option plan established to give senior managers the option to buy company stock in the future at a predetermined fixed price, right? So I can buy the stock later, right? Let's say the stock goes to $100, but I'm allowed to buy it at $50. So if I buy your stock and it's $100, and way back in 1982 they said we'll allow you to buy stock at $50 anytime you want, then every time I buy a share, then I'm making $50, right? So it's a really decent plan for the executives that get that. I definitely don't have that. Would love to have it if somebody wants to give it to me. So you read this. Be sure to read this, Criticisms of Executive Compensation, and talk about how, kind of bankrupts companies. But people, they do their homework and they see that, how these executives come in and they change things around and make things very profitable. So, it's a calculated risk that they go through. So be sure to read the new approaches to performance-based rewards. Good way to end the chapter. Might give you some great ideas for, your work environment and/or your work environment when you become a manager and/or supervisor. So that's it for Chapter 10. Here's your summary of learning outcomes and key points. I actually really like the summary for this textbook. Be sure to review that for Management 2. Be sure to take your quiz, do your homework assignment, and read everything in totality. Watch all the lecture, watch all the videos. They're great learning tools to help you along the way. So as always, everyone, please have a good day and a great week.